Once we get through hinging, the next thing in the pattern sequence is how to carry something. Yeah, anybody ever done suitcase carries? Farmer's carries? There you go, right? Think of carrying or unilateral carries, right? Instead of holding with two, you're holding with one. Imagine that as being a dynamic plank. That's literally what it is. It's like me being in a side plank, holding a kettlebell over here, and walking. Because when I'm carrying something and I'm walking, this is like me carrying groceries or holding the hand of someone. I got to pick them up and move them out of the way, right? When I step here and I'm holding this, I've got to fire through my adductors to stabilize. I'm using the opposite side of my obliques to sling. The moment I switch and take that next step, boom, now I'm stabilizing on this side. Now I'm stable, right? And it's switching, switching, switching every step that I take. If I'm not training that in some way, then I'm losing the ability to do that well. This is more than just squatting and deadlifting and bench pressing. It really is looking at everything that you could possibly do in a movement pattern and how it correlates into life and how it coordinates into training for endurance, for sport, for whatever. Because one of the other things that I see, especially Carrie with endurance athletes, whenever I run behind somebody, I always watch their hips. Right? What that tells me is it tells me that we are not doing a great job of stabilizing the hips, right? I'm not getting all of these muscles in my legs when they hit the ground to create stability for my pelvis. And now my pelvis is creating stability for my spine, right? We have a saying that we use is FTGU, from the ground up. When I look at someone, the first thing that I look at is their feet. And I look at their feet and I work my way all the way up the kinetic chain. So when you work with someone, hopefully they're not just like, yeah, 6 more. Okay. They should constantly be looking at you and starting from a base point. Now, why do you think we start at the feet? That's not a foot fetish thing, I promise. It's your base, right? And every movement, because we generate energy through the ground. I've got to push through the ground here in order to develop the ability to throw that ball. I got to push through this to push through that. Every time I stand up, I'm putting force down into the ground, and all of the muscles that stack above it have to respond to that accordingly. So whether you are collapsing at the arch, the knees are rotating in, the hips are uneven, right? All of those things can start from the ground and work their way up. And if we can alleviate some of that, it improves your ability to lift and move. You got a light kettlebell. Start with that light kettlebell just to the outside of your left foot. To the outside of your left foot. Okay? So what I'm gonna have you do is you're gonna reach down. We're gonna grab that kettlebell nice and tight, just like we did with the deadlift. Try to square the shoulders off. Breathe in, brace, and stand up. And hold. I don't want the kettlebell resting on your body. So we're gonna take that elbow, turn it out, pull it out away from my body, and now all of a sudden I see this other side kick on. Does everybody feel that? Yeah? So when I'm holding this, if the weight is the right amount of tension, place your hand right on your obliques, and then I want you to breathe into it. Feel how tight that is. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. One more, breathe it in. Breathe it out, and release. When we are carrying, specifically when we are asymmetrically carrying, I've got to be able to hold that and lock myself into position. I don't want to be carrying it and overcompensating here and walking like this. And I don't want to be here so heavy that I can't get it up. It's got to be right in the middle, the same way that we would be working if we were doing a good side plank. Right? It's the same concept. Okay? So when you're going through that, think about where you're at. So switch sides, set up the feet, take the breath in, good brace, sit yourself all the way down, grab and hold, everything's locked in, drive through the floor, exhale up, and hold. And you start to feel, okay? From here, where it's resting on my body, to that slight bit of rotation out, feel the adjustment. That's all it takes. Good. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. And the last one, breathe in. Breathe out. And lower it down. Good. Now, one of the things that I want you to be mindful of, I want you to watch this for a second. When I am carrying and holding things, see the adjustment? Yeah, that's it. In a world where we spend all of our time like this, like this, like this, we start to get short here. We lose a little bit of that strength through here. Maybe this is all the training that we're doing because we're going all the way to the very end of the important spectrum. Guys do this all the time, right? Hey, how do you train? Yeah, you know, I do this, but I bench press. Okay, great, okay? But we're here. So when we carry, posture, pull those muscles back. And if you look at it, that adjustment from here to here, you start to see the rhomboids kick in. You see the scaps pull back. You start to get nice and tight through here. It adjusts how the ribs sit in, how the musculature activates. It's important for that carry that we are aligned and we got the right weight there.